Alright, welcome back. Another episode of 247 Evil Garage, except it's not the garage. We're going to be doing an awning replacement today, and I've never done one of these before. And fortunately for me today, I've got the patient and kind hands of Mrs. 247 Evil to help me with this, so we'll see how that goes. So, in case you've never done one of these before, the best thing to do first is to measure what you have, open it up, and make sure you got the right length and width material and order it. Amazon's got lots. We got ours off at Amazon. It's real nice. I'll show you the new one. The new one's going to be like a greenish color. Well, it's not here. It's there. Like a greenish color. And so what I started to do first off was there's end caps. Remove the end caps on both sides. And there was a screw inside of the nylon rod. And that allowed me to, once the screws removed, remove the whole valance part. And now we're going to be removing the actual awning part. And to do that, I've taken the end caps off on this side. And there's another end cap on this side. Over here, and behind there there's screws. Now, I found an Allen screw in the rod that holds in the front of the awning. I imagine there's one up there the same way. So once I get this thing loosened off, we're going to cut this awning in half, and once the awning's cut in half, I can slide out the front portion and then slide out the back portion. So stick with me while I do this, and I'll get back to it when I get to that point. Alright, so I've got the old awning removed. It slides out easily. There were two pins on either side, Allen screw, 2mm Allen screws in there. Remove the pins on either side for the top portion. The portion at the top, very top, did not have anything retaining it. And these are the nylon rods, which are reusable, and will be going into the new awning. And as you can see, I got my supervisor. They're keeping an eye on me. He's watching me do the job. So now we're going to clean all the algae off the frame. And once we accomplish that, let it dry a little bit. I'll lubricate some of the joints, make sure everything's nice and tight, and then we'll put the new awning in. So stay tuned for that. And that's a two-person job. And before I even get to that, I'm just going to explain it quickly. We're going to replace the rods into the new material, and I'll start feeding in the top. Mrs. 247 will start feeding in the bottom. We'll feed the top part in, and then we'll put the valance part on, and then we're going to level the whole thing out. So stick with me for that. Alright, this is the tough part, guys. You have to reuse that nylon rod, and there's a little bit of a loop on the end of it. You have to shove it through. And it's not as easy as it seems. We still have a couple feet of rod to push through. And on this end of it, I'm going to show you lovely Mrs. 247 Evil's hands. She is pulling the rod through, as you can see, very carefully. And this is the tough part, guys. You got to open up that loop, and you got to shove it in. It gets bunched up, and then when it gets bunched up, it's probably easier to bunch it up and then smooth it out afterwards. So, all right, that's this part. This is taking a lot longer than I expected. No one talks about this when they make these videos, but I do. All right, when I get it done, I'll get back to it. All right, next we're going to feed the nylon rod with the awning material through this for the bottom. This is for the valance part over here. And we have a similar slot up top there to feed it through. So simultaneously we're going to feed it to the top and there at the bottom. And afterwards we're going to level the whole thing out. Alright, so we started pushing the nylon rod, the ends of the seams through into the frames of the channels that I took a video of earlier. We're about a third of the way through. So basically simultaneously you've got to push the bottom and the top through around about the same amount, make sure it's nice and straight, and just keep getting up there and feeding it through. It's a two-person job to do it. You could probably do it with one person, but strongly recommend a two-person job, someone to stabilize out the end as it's being fed through. So when I get the whole thing fed through, I'll come back. Alright, the job is done. A little bit of cursing and a little bit of swearing. We got it done. The scallop valance part is on. Pins are put back in place. The whole awning assembly has been leveled out. And this job is finished. So, if you like this kind of stuff, click like and subscribe. I always ask you to do that. And that's the end of this particular installation job. It was not that difficult. The most difficult part of it was running the nylon rod through the loop in the material on the awning and on the valance part. That was a bit of a struggle. That's not as easy as the other videos make it out to be, so be aware and be ready for that. This awning is a little narrower than the one that was on there by about 8 inches, but the thing is that to get a custom-made awning would have been a whole lot more money than what I paid on Amazon. And I think it was about 150 or 160 bucks on Amazon with my discounts. So if you want to do stuff like this on your own, don't be afraid to tackle it. All right, until next time, see ya.